fun episode of the Mr. Phil Show. As I said in previous weeks, we actually are putting something different on for you tonight. This is going to be a combination of a comedy, musical, a little bit of everything. It's just going to be a fun show with everybody's just going to have a lot of fun, and I think you're going to enjoy yourselves. So without any hesitation, because we did get to start a little late on you, we're sorry, I'm going to introduce to you my best friend and yours, Mr. Phil. Hello. How you doing today?
Okay.
Good. Okay, so, all right, now we finally got all of our technical problems out of the way.
Right.
Which, unfortunately, technical problems leads me to the subject of
The
telethon.
telethon.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. We have a date.
Yes, the date is Saturday, October 21st, from 2 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock at night.
Yes.
And we're asking you to please tune in that day and to please call the numbers on the screen that day. Come on down to give your donations, or let's do something even better. Let's send some donations in advance, okay? Because we want to be sure we get this telethon successful, and I think it would be a good idea to start it in advance and get these donations down. Okay? Well, you could make out your checks to Access 23 TV and make out the envelope to Access 23 TV, Post Office Box 321, Port Jervis, New York, 13221.
Right. Now, last week, the act that we had on actually helped us start our telethon.
Yeah.
They had given us a donation,
Right.
and we were going to be able to open up with donation money on
Right.
our tote board, which is what we're hoping that our viewers will do, because the only thing with the telethon is that it's a local thing. I don't know if any of our other areas will get it, but since you get to see our show anyway, that's why we advertise the telethon, because essentially it's going to everyone, but not at the same time. Everyone's getting to participate because you're getting to listen to the show and you're getting to have the fun with the show. So if you like what you're seeing and you're having fun and you want to help us be able to pay for newer equipment and get better stuff, that's the time to say, okay, you know what? I really like that show. I'd like them to be able to do better stuff. Let's donate now and
Right.
and even after the telethon.
Yeah, after the telethon.
All year long.
But, okay, so I'm going to give it again, okay? Make out the checks to Access 23 TV and send it to Access 23 TV, P.O. Box 321, Port Jervis, New York, 12771.
Right.
Okay, so please you could do it that way, or come down when we're doing a live show, either on a Thursday night when Carl Richards does Keeping Country Strong. There's somebody in the studio starting at 8 o'clock, right through. His show is at 9, or come down on a Friday night when we're doing our show, and get here somewhere about 7:30. And the show goes on at 8, and at the same time, you could watch our show while you're down here. See it live and give your donation. If you want to, we'll even put you on the air as you give it.
Yeah, we can do that. It's our show. We get to run it. I'm
Right,
the director.
so-
I get to say what happens. So
Yeah, and the
That's
outlying
right, we'll do
areas, we
this.
really need you, because you're getting the same show, whether you're
right.
looking at us in Port Jervis on our own beloved Access 23, or any of your other wonderful stations that you were watching
That's
us.
right.
But you're getting the same exact show, no matter what, or if you're watching us on YouTube TV, and the shows just get better and better and better. And it's built a lot of careers for a lot of people.
It has, yes, it really has. It's built up a lot of careers for people that we've even just started on our show.
Yes.
And then Carl Richards on his show, he has some people that are usually out there already playing, but he has them on and promotes what they're doing or promotes their albums. And I just want to let everybody know that everybody that does anything here, nobody gets paid for anything. It's all volunteer. So also, if someone has knowledge of how to work the sound booth or any of that kind of stuff, and you're interested in joining and you're in the area, let us know. Drop us a line.
You become a member, and then you'll be shown how to do all this, because we could always use extra help on our shows.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Mr. Ken Frost is doing the job of what used to be, and this is the true story. When I started here, it used to be 5 people, because we had 3 people in the control room at one time. At that time we only had 2 cameras. Now we have 3, but we had somebody on each camera back in those days.
Right, now we don't really have, we have the static cameras, meaning that they're just sitting still unless Ken comes out of the booth and adjusts them.
Right.
Because usually it's him here, and so now that we only have one person,
Right.
kind of makes it a little more difficult, makes him run around a little bit more, makes him crazy, but that's okay. He does it, and he does it with a smile, and he's done.
Yeah,
so
we get it done.
every time we get a good show.
But we could always use extra volunteers for that. You know.
Absolutely.
And especially younger. Listen to this. You know, kids, let's say in college, who want to take this up. We are giving you a free education, which you can't get anyplace else.
Right.
Okay? And that's the best thing. On camera training, you know, on the spot training and all that. You can't get that. All you have to do is just join the station.
Yes. Yes.
And
I mean, we took on an apprentice who works with Ken occasionally when around her work schedule, but this is what she's taking for college.
right.
And so now she gets to come into a real studio and really do some work.
Right. And speaking of careers, it was 10 years ago this month that 2 major careers of 2 young girls started on our show. This one girl started on our show. She had just auditioned for American Idol.
Oh.
And she played guitar. At that time, we didn't have the area we have now.
Right.
But she still had originals, and she came on. She's over in London now, recording and opening up for big stars and doing major shows.
That's right.
The following week, a week later, we had another one that I met through Joe Franklin, Veronica Cole. She started with us, and she got picked up right away by A-Train Productions.
Okay.
And now she's playing all over the place. She had a name in the neon lights in New York City because of us.
You see what public access will do for you.
Yes.
You get to access the public.
Yes, she's playing on a cruise ship.
You get to come in here and you tell people, hey, I was on a TV show, and it was, my own TV show. And
when she started here, we were only Port Jervis.
That's true. Now we're in a lot of different areas.
Right. Imagine if she had started years later, where she'd be now.
That's right, because other people would have picked her up.
Right.
And the fact that we're on YouTube now means it's all over the world, actually. Not, I was going to say the country, but it's actually all over the world because anyone can access YouTube.
Right. And the most remarkable career of all, in all seriousness, that I worked on my career for over 25 years, and the woman sitting next to us started with us less than 2 years later, and she's alternating me in everything. Whatever I do, she does. I mean, so she blended right in, and her career has just like gone the strongest of anybody who started here, who just stepped in, that happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, there was definitely a right place, right time.
Right.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, here, somebody who started out as a co-host blended in and doing all these
That's
things
right.
now.
Yes, yes, member of the station. I'm trustee of the station. I'm the director of this show. I put together the telethons. I'm the director of the telethons. And my husband and I also play music out in the public, acoustic style, and we're also putting together a band.
Right.
So this is all within 2 years, and it's all gone very fast. And had I not met Phil when I did, you know, who knows what the stars would have had in store for us.
Right.
But I believe that we meet people when we're supposed to meet them, at the time we're supposed to meet them, and we happen to hit our time,
Right.
right?
Yes. And,
Okay.
you know, even recently, we got picked up by a producer. And just this past week, I mean, this woman was on our show last week.
Right. Miss Lena Shockley.
Yes, and she had me co-host on her show the New York fashion show this week.
Right.
You know, and that was with all the fashion models from all over the world.
Oh, I
and-
bet you love that.
Oh yeah, interviewed them, you know, and I mean that was one of the biggest things I think I've ever done, and I
I
have
bet.
another one to do on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah. I've got other plans and things I have to do myself, but yeah, Phil definitely is going to be on the red carpet for the fashion with Lena Shockley and all these beautiful models and all these beautiful clothes. If you get a chance to go down there, where is it in the city?
This one is going to be in Elmhurst, Queens.
Elmhurst, Queens. Okay.
And-
Is there a place they can look it up to find out more about it?
Yes,
Or do you want to put it on your
It's-
Facebook?
it's on my Facebook, and you can see all the pictures of me if you look on Facebook. I mean, all the videos of.
Just put into your Facebook for Mr. Phil, and it'll come up, Mr.
mean,
Phil and
it's-
Mr. Phil show.
It was just, you know, remarkable. And the thing is this, there's a lot more coming for us.
Yes,
From this,
we
I mean-
are going to have a very, very interesting year.
Oh yeah, this year I think we struck gold.
But we promised that when we opened this season.
Yes, and I mean, what was, and then I also performed at the Nyack Film Festival.
Right,
And that's what started this all. Mm-hmm.
That's
you know,
right.
And
And actually, you know, talking about what you performed, people are going on YouTube lately
yes,
and finding old footage of you
yes.
when you went to, what was it, America's Got Talent?
America's Got Talent.
Yeah. Well, some people see that and go, oh, that's Phil? Oh, my goodness. And they don't get it. It was done to Phil, not for Phil. They kind of made him look like a clown. They took clips and through editing and everything, made it look like not such a serious thing. For him, it was very serious and very serious audition.
Right.
And then when they put it together, it looked like it was one of those goofy auditions that they like to throw in between
Right.
all the segments.
Yes.
Yes. So I want people to know that that's not the real Mr. Phil show. Go down further, look at the Mr. Phil show for like this year, and you'll see some really good shows. He's come a long way also from that time
Right.
on his own, just opening shows and going into different areas,
Right.
and helping people with their own show.
Right. See, it was a learning experience. You don't always have to do exactly as, you're told unless you're working for somebody and getting paid for it.
Right.
And what I had done worked on another show that I was on a Jimmy Kimmel show. I had done the Mr. Phil song, which I'm going to do in a little while. On the Jimmy Kimmel show, it worked fine because I was the feature performer doing that. That's the way it was scheduled, and
Right.
Jimmy Kimmel promoted my album. I was brought out there for that, so it worked over there. And the person who was promoting me and using me on all these national shows asked me to do it on AGT. But not realizing that AGT is an audition to go further and to win, to go on to do a show in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, probably not knowing enough about. So I took his advice and did it on AGT, but it wasn't made for that kind of a show.
No, it kind of got turned around. I mean, I know when you sat and watched it, you were like, oh, wait a minute, that's not the way it was shot. It
wasn't even shot
shouldn't be
that
that
way.
But just so you know, a lot of these shows, you know, with us, everything is live, and you see what exactly is happening here at the station, and we're
Right.
not editing and we're not fixing anything. But
Right.
those types of shows, they do.
No.
And Phil would actually like to get up
Right.
and show
And
you.
I'll show you it on my, but I just want to say, this happened in 2008. If it had happened a year later, I would have had to turn them down, because a year later, that's when I went into a contract with my manager,
Right.
Mr. Carl Richards, from the recordings and everything we do together. And a year later, I wouldn't have been able to do it, because if you're signed to a manager and or you have a TV show, you cannot go on these reality shows. So a year later, it never would have, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it, because
That's true.
it never
That's
would have
true.
happened, because at one point I wanted to audition for X Factor, and they said, you can't, because you're signed to a manager and you have a TV show,
Right.
and you've had radio play and a bunch of other things. So
Right. Yeah. All those shows, they all have different requirements and stuff. Some of the shows that I've seen, they've had people that were performers that lost contracts and that kind of thing. Maybe they weren't covered at the time by a manager. So maybe that's what they got, how they got on these shows. But you know what? If you want to see what Mr. Phil's performance was on AGT, you can certainly go on that and see exactly. I mean, you know, Phil has come from being a clown sometimes.
right,
Because he used to be a Jerry Lewis lookalike. He used
Right.
to, you know, he used to go and do a whole act like that. And, you know, he is a bit of a clown when we get playing around and we're doing our music and stuff. So it's just actually something fun to look at. And then to look at the station's shows now and see what it's become. It's quite a different thing.
right. But you know, so I mean, I'm gonna do it now, but it's nothing what
No.
it looks like.
No.
You know.
I recommend that you compare the two.
Yeah, right.
So if you would get up right now
Okay.
and do the Phil.
Yes.
And the Phil was written for Phil to do as a dance. To
Right.
start another dance craze.
And it's worked on a lot of different festivals and programs like that. So
Yeah, it gets people out in the audience, gets them up moving and doing and jumping and
Right.
all that.
the first time I did it was at the Orange County Fair, and a bunch of kids jumped out of the stands and everything, and just started to. The
Sure,
very
that's
first time
right.
when
It's all about being happy, and today's show actually is all about being happy.
Right.
And you know that's actually why I brought up the telethon is make us happy.
yeah. Plus, it's the theme song of the show.
That's right, it is.
Yes.
You hear it every week, and now you're going to know what it's all about.
Right. Right.
So,
Okay.
without further ado,
I mean,
Mr. Phil.
Listen to the introduction music, because during the introduction music, I got my first red X. They buzzed me before I even opened my mouth to sing.
Oh my goodness, they had you really set
Just
up,
don't
didn't
buzz
they?
me tonight. Let me get. They thought this was too long, this music. Everybody, come on with me. We'll do a new song called Mr. Phil. And everybody, forget your troubles. Jump up and down, we're doing the Phil. Get down low with your feet together. Jump real high up in the sky. Jump real high like a fat kangaroo. Doing the Phil is a fun thing to do. Doing the Phil is a great thing to do. Now that you learned just how to do it, it's a fun thing to do. So everybody, forget your troubles. Jump up and down, we're doing the Phil. Jump real high. Now get down low. Do it for Phil. You're doing just fine. Everybody, come on with me. We'll do a new dance called Mr. Phil. And everybody, forget your troubles. Jump up and down, we're doing the Phil. Get down low with your feet together. Jump real high up in the sky. Jump real high like a fat kangaroo. Doing the Phil is a fun thing to do. Doing the Phil is a great thing to do. Doing the Phil is a nice thing to do. Now that you've learned just how to do it, it's a fun thing to do. So everybody, forget your troubles. Jump up and down, we're doing the Phil. Thank you.
Yeah, see?
Great job, everyone.
You got me up doing the Phil. How do you like that?
See, another thing, very important, I didn't get to do the whole thing. When you do anything on AGT, American Idol, X Factor, they generally give you 90 seconds to do your
get
songs.
Very short, yeah.
Yeah, they do. They just give you a small portion of it.
Right.
90 seconds is what they do. So.
All right, well, you know, we promised people a fun show tonight.
Okay.
So tonight we have a woman who will be doing a one-woman show. She's called the Ageless Wonder, Princess Wow. And it's Mindy Fradkin. I want to make sure I announce the name right. Would you want
Come
to
on over.
And her partner in crime. We'll explain what husband is. Roland, would you want to come over? And I know we're going to have to unfortunately share mics because.
Yeah, we'll share mic. I'll share mic.
Oh, okay. You want
We
to
share a lot of things still.
All right, everything
that's
over
good.
the.
Now-
But everything has to go over the microphone.
Go, okay, here we go.
There we go,
We share a
yes.
lot of things, so we can share a mic.
Yes. Okay. So you know what? First thing we need to do is tell people what is a husband. This is one of this
we
is
were
one of
married.
her own terms, Mindy's own terms.
Yeah, we were married, and now we're not, but we're still best friends, and we're still collaborating creatively because we were always, singing together. Well, he got me on stage singing. I've been a
Right.
performer since I was 9. When I booked myself for my own birthday party, it was 1964. The Beatles when they came to America. Remember the Beatles when they
Yeah.
came
Of
to the Ed
course,
Sullivan
I remember
show?
singing the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
February 9th, 16th, and 23rd. I saw
1964.
all
So
at
that
64.
year, we're giving away our age, but it's okay. We're Ageless Wonders. That's the title of
That's-
my one-woman show. What's actually Ageless Wonders, When Did I Become a Senior? That's my
Okay, well-
subtitle. That's my
Ah,
show.
that's a-
Well,
okay.
one thing.
Okay.
I got to say, for the February 23rd show, at least
I was
Mary
born by
She
then.
was born by then. She was
Born
2
by then,
days.
okay.
She was 2 days old by
Yeah.
then.
Okay, that's all right.
Yes, I was 2 days old. My mother probably had me watching.
Yes, she did. So she probably watched.
Yeah, so I saw the show, and then that year, it was like June was my birthday, and it was like I got a Beatles wig and a guitar, and I did a dance party, a Beatles party, dance party. My
Wow.
cousin, who's my age, he was there. He talked about it for decades. I'm not kidding you. When we were in our 30s, he's still talking about the Beatles party. I said, I guess I really am a performer. It must have been a great
Must have
show.
been
I was
fun.
9, you know. It's
It
like,
was. The first
Yeah.
song
You know what
they
I mean?
sang was "All My Loving."
Uh-huh.
When Ed introduced them, that was the first song they got out and sang. You couldn't even hear the song with all the girls screaming
Right,
in
I
the
know. I was one of the
audience.
screaming girls, you know. when I
wow,
would go
you
to
were
the-
in there.
You know what I mean? Well, I wasn't there, but I mean, when we just saw the shows
On
on,
the
TV, I
TV.
was screaming, you know.
Right.
Did Sid Bernstein
Yeah,
bring?
he was the promoter. He got them over. We knew Sid.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Very
anyway, yeah. So that's my husband, and everyone likes that term. It makes everybody laugh. You know, because it makes it. We're close still. It's friendly,
Right,
Right. If he's
right.
my husband, right?
Right, exactly.
That
And-
sounds mighty familiar.
It's very
That
friendly.
sounds
Yes,
mu-
And he's-
we
oh,
have
yeah.
our own. Yes, we have our own term that I use for Phil. He's my dunkle.
I know, and I never heard that. I love that.
Yeah,
That is so
my
great.
dunkle because after my dad passed, and I went to karaoke, and I performed, and as I was done performing, there was this man I didn't know, of course, standing in front of me. I saw my father's eyes looking out through him.
Oh wow.
And he came over. I did Desperado by the Beatles. But see, we got the Beatles, but the Eagles.
The Beatles.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Okay.
the Beagles.
The Beatles.
And Desperado by the Eagles, and he stood there, and he's got tears on his face, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like my father's eyes. And he came
that's
over
great.
and grabbed me and gave me the biggest hug.
Oh,
And we have literally been best friends
that's great.
since then.
That's great.
And he's like an uncle, and he, treats me like a daughter as well. And so now he's my dunkle.
I love it. I love
Dad
it.
and
It's
uncle,
great.
dunkle.
So anyway, I made these hats. I brought my hat. I make these hats. I'm a hat
Right.
designer and a
Wow.
performer, and he got me singing on stage. I mean, I
Ah.
never sang in my life on stage. I was singing in the shower my whole life and in the car when I met him, and I was singing every day. And he spotted my tank. He said, "You're a good singer." I said, "I am." He said, "Yes." When we started hanging out in Woodstock.
Oh,
And
my.
then anyway, that's how I got to be getting on stage because of him.
Wow.
Years ago. I mean, it was
Alright.
years ago in the making. But anyway, so my show is about ageism in America and how I'm dealing with. I turned 62. I never talk about my age ever, but now my director told me you have to give framework for your audience. So it's like,
Right.
okay, here it is. I'm 62. Okay, but I'm still an ageless wonder, and so are you. Anyway, so it's a musical, and we wrote the music together, and he puts the music that we have the lyrics together. I mean, and he
Yes.
does the music. And Pete Seeger actually plays banjo on the album.
Okay.
We did a whole
the late
series. I'm the
Pete
founder of
Seeger.
the Smile Revolution. We raise awareness to the healing power of a smile, which started in
Yes.
2005 on my dad's deathbed. He rarely smiled because he had a terrible tragedy as a child, and the last smile changed my life for the better. And then
Right.
I got this inspiration when I was doing my one-woman show with my hats for an independent film in New York City.
Wow.
And that's how this whole project started in 2005. And then we did this album. It was many years in the making. And so Pete Seeger actually played the banjo. And this is the first hat I ever made.
Wow, that is some hat.
cool? It's a
Yeah.
black.
I
I don't know if you all
don't
can
know
see
if
it.
you can see it really well, but it's looks like almost like a graduation cap with stars and
Well, I had
like
there were
str-
streamers from a
or
party I had.
stars or something.
And
Yeah,
I had
all
a
over it.
dream
It's
one
very
night.
it's very
I was a
colorful.
wardrobe stylist years ago in the city, and then I had this party with all these streamers on my terrace, and then I just had a dream. I was like, it was for a publicity shot.
Okay.
And so it was just like I just had this dream about this hat, and I didn't even know how to sew at that point. And then I just like made this hat one day, and that's how this
That's
photograph
great. Yeah.
happened. So anyway, I want to show you my poster because it's so color. Well, actually, I think they did just show it on the screen. Yeah, there it is.
Well, there we go. Yep.
And those are pictures are me at different ages, the black and white shots.
Uh-huh.
And then the one in the middle is like very recent, like about a couple months ago.
Right. Right. Yeah, you need the recent picture because
I have to have-
you know
yeah,
you
the
want
col-
people to see.
right.
You know.
Not
Who
that I
did
wear
you
a pink
grow
wig
up
every
to-
day. That's
Who
a
did you
wig.
grow up to be? You know.
You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I've been wearing colored wigs and colors for decades.
Yes.
And it makes people smile. That's why I do it. It's happy.
Right.
And actually, I met a Native American chief years ago,
Uh-huh.
and he said that his mother told him to wear bright colors because it makes people happy.
That's true.
And so that's
is
why,
very
and that's
true.
not why I did it. It's just that I just kind of all black in the 90s, and everybody's wearing black in the 90s, and it was just depressing to me.
Right.
So I just started wearing a lot of color. And
Yeah,
it got me a
sure.
lot of
You
publicity and
incorporate
stuff, but
that
that's
into your
not why I
show.
wore it. But it just kind of unfolded, and I just still doing it.
That's okay. You
You
know,
know?
because still
Makes the
people
world
do-
brighter.
That's
a
right. And
brighter
look
place.
at everybody
Right.
now.
You know?
The colored hair is in.
It's in
and
now.
Because,
right.
but
it's
why?
fun. I mean,
Because it's fun and
It's
it makes
fun.
people happy.
It does. It's happy.
My own daughter just dyed her hair blue, and she's thrilled with it.
I know. See, I know.
She's
it's
thrilled.
fun.
She did it
Right.
to be happy.
Well, years ago, I was wearing a lavender wig, and my mother said to me, this is years ago, decades ago in San Francisco, and she's like, why are you wearing that lavender wig? Well, Mozart used to wear lavender wigs, just so you know.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So I was a good company.
All right.
Well, anyway, my mother said, why are you wearing that lavender hair? I said, Mom, it's just another color. People wear blonde hair, they have gray hair, they have brown hair.
That's
it's
right.
just another
Yeah.
color. And then she says, oh, okay, then she understood.
Ah, okay.
Isn't that neat? So that's, it's just another color.
That's
Wow.
that's
You
really
know?
all it comes down to. You're
Yeah,
right.
You know?
You're right. But it's bright and it makes you smile.
All right, so wait, so I got to put a couple hats. See, I do
Uh-oh,
this-
okay.
Okay, Mr. Phil, we're having
We're-
fun.
we're
Right? You got to put that hat on your
putting that
head.
on
Wait,
Phil.
it's the other
Goes
way.
the other way.
I know, I had the label on the other way, but let's just see, because we have
See,
to do a
we
little
have to-
hat happening
Okay,
here.
there we've got.
Okay, here you go. This is what I do in part of my show, is that we do a little interactive hat happening. Okay, Mary, you've got a,
Oh, okay.
whoops, there's a leaf on there.
Oh, my.
And a star came out of the hat.
It must have
Wow,
been
you must be
the
a
hat
star.
for the star. Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Hats are very
Now, I-
vintage. They're vintage looking from different eras. Let me see,
Yes.
Mary. Wait a minute. You have to angle it just right.
Yeah.
okay?
I mean, I've done a couple of shows with hats.
I know. We're just having fun, Mr. Phil. This is just fun.
He looks
you know
like
what
the
I'm
Mad
saying?
Hatter now.
He's the Mad Hatter. Let me see, Mr. Phil. That's
Yeah.
good. I like it.
Well, that looks good. Hey,
This is fun. We're
this
just
is,
having
this
fun.
is good.
Isn't
I,
that
you
good?
know.
So that's like very 1940s,
Yeah, I
vintage
love
looking.
this.
And that's like my Alice in Wonderland hat.
Oh, well,
know,
we went to the Hoboken Film Festival
Roland's
this year, and
got-
I
wait a
had
minute,
a hat
Roland.
from the 30s.
Huh?
I had a hat on from the 30s at the Hoboken Film Festival,
You should try on that.
which was
front. You put that
wonderful.
on.
Oh, let's
good.
see that one.
That's
I
a
like
vintage
that color.
tie.
Ah,
Let me see.
okay. You
Wait,
took a
Roland, let me
tie
see.
and
Look at
you.
me. Okay, look at that.
Wow, you
Isn't that
put
cool?
that right around. That's really.
It
That's
doesn't really
neat.
go with his outfit, though. but-
Tip your head down a little bit so we can get it
Okay.
with on the
Let's
camera.
see. Okay, let's see.
Woodstock, yeah. You know what?
And he's got his Woodstock T-shirt on. Isn't that cool?
That is
Yeah, it
cool.
is.
That's cool. And
Woodstock.
Yeah, he was at the concert. Here, Roland, you got to talk.
let's get
Yeah,
Roland to
I
talk
just,
a little bit.
basically,
Yeah.
I was I first came in '68, and I was very fortunate to be with some very well-known musicians such as Dylan and Richie Havens, who recorded some songs of mine. And
Right.
I'd written some songs with Bob Marley and these
Unbelievable.
people. But we were very fortunate I was very fortunate to work with Pete Seeger from '68, cleaning up the river, the Hudson River.
Yes.
And of course, then ran into Mindy, and she did her radio show, and she interviewed a lot of interesting people. Mindy, you
I had a radio show in Kingston, AM 1490 AM,
Okay.
when we met.
Yeah.
And he got me a lot of, Pete Seeger, and so I
Right.
met a lot of people. And then I got Neil Donald Walsh, who wrote Conversations with God, and
Yeah.
we got Buffy St. Marie. I got a lot of people, all the support, the smile, and Arlo Guthrie, Richie, and everybody. They were all in support of what I'm
Right.
doing
Wow.
to promote more joy. We
Right.
need more joy in the
Right.
world,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
A simple smile will do. So that's where these songs came. It's like it's just inspired from my dad's
Right.
last smile.
So I'll tell you what,
great.
why don't you go up there and do it now?
Would you do
Okay.
your
Just
show for us? 'Cause
take the
Well, I'm
rest
not
of the
doing my
show.
We're doing
Parts
some
of your
songs.
show or your songs or whatever it is
Yeah,
that
we're gonna
you.
do. Yeah, my show. I'm
have.
doing a couple. We'll do. I don't know how many songs we're gonna do.
Well, we have
Couple
about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah,
Roughly.
that I think you can probably fit in quite a bit. So we're going to actually sign off now.
Sign off now, and just
And
one,
just-
I'm just gonna say, while
okay.
they're going up this setup, don't forget to send in your checks.
Okay.
Make it out to Access 23 TV and send it to Access 23 TV, P.O. Box 321, Port Jervis, New York, 12771. That's P.O. Box 321, Port Jervis, New York, 12771, and make it out to Access 23 TV, Port Jervis, New York.
Okay,
And,
there we go.
They're gonna take out the show the rest of the way, and we just want you to enjoy the rest of the show, and we will see all of you again next week at this time, same stations, and
Okay. Oh yeah. Also, I want everybody to know that Mindy's information, her Facebook information, and her, I guess you have a website, and whatever they want to find out about her and about her show. It's going to be called The Ageless Wonder: When Did I Become a Senior? And it's Princess Wow Productions.
right, we don't want to give the dates because the show is gonna show after the show
After the show,
in some of
right?
our viewing
But
areas.
you know, just in case she does, she may end up putting it online. You might want to get the chance to see it, and it's not something that's going to be terribly expensive either. It's just a nice night to have
Well, it's
a
an
lot of fun.
afternoon matinee.
It's in the afternoon. It's a
4 o'clock.
matinee, right, at 4 o'clock. So, are you going to be putting it on the internet?
Well, I have a videographer filming it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so she has a videographer filming it, and we're going to be able to go in there and see it.
Okay,
Okay, so I'd like to turn this show officially over to Mindy and Roland.
okay.
Okay, so we're on now? Yes. Okay. Okay, well, I just wanted to say hello to my audience, our audience here. And my name is Mindy, as you know, but I'm also known, as you know, as Princess Wow. When I got the name many years ago, because I used to walk into a room and wear these outrageous outfits. I'm not going to, maybe I am still outrageous, but anyway, I was walking to a room, I was wearing all these hats that I made in outrageous costumes, and I was always saying wow all the time. And so a theater director started calling me Wow, and I had a different stage name. It was the Mad Hattress, because I've been doing performances with my hats for a long time, and so, but I didn't really like that name long term. So I was like, well, I really need another stage name, and so I was calling myself Miss Wow as a nickname, and then one of my friends who was writing for the New York Times, she said, "You're not Miss Wow, you're Princess Wow." So I said, you know, I really like that, and so I decided at some point to use that name, and I've been using it since, you know, a long time now, like a couple decades at least. So anyway, and I was wardrobe styling for years, and I was I was doing a movie, costumes, and every day on the set, this actor who's now been on Broadway recently, he said, you know, you need to be in front of the camera, not behind the camera. You could be like the next comedy sensation. I'm like, okay, well, every day. And then he was saying that all summer, and then after that, and then also this special effects guy was saying, you know, there needs to be Mindy dolls. I don't know why. It's like my hand mannerisms or my facial expressions, whatever it is. Well, anyway, so after that summer, I took a comedy class. And at the beginning of the class, he said, I want you to just get up and talk and not be funny. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do that. So, and then the rest of well, anyway, so I got up and talked. Everyone else was doing it. Nobody laughed. I got up and talked about my life, and everyone was on the floor laughing. And the rest of the time, the 10 weeks, we had to like write punchlines and like memorize them. And it was like, then I was like horrible. I couldn't do it. And then I called my teacher up and I said, I guess I'm not funny. I'm depressed. I guess I'm really not funny at all. So he said, some comedians like Robin Williams, they just have an idea what they're going to talk about, and then they just get up and talk. So the last class, I want you to just get up and talk. So I did. I was talking about what it was like coming over in the rain and what was going on with me on the way over to the class. And so I got up and talked, and everyone was on the floor laughing. So anyway, so I was doing stand-up comedy in the New York City clubs, and all that. And then I started making hats, and I didn't like really playing late at night and like 1 in the morning and drinking and smoking and stuff. So I decided when I started making hats, I started this show called A Hat Happening, this Hats Entertainment Performance. So that's part of my one-woman show that I'm doing, the Ageless Wonder, When Did I Become a Senior show. It's interactive, it's a hat performance as well as musical and storytelling and videos and stuff. And so anyway, it's all about ageism in America. So Roland and I, my husband here, we wrote this song called We're Ageless Wonders. And it's actually my opening song. So we're going to sing it for you now. Fresh and new, and I go into how there is no time. I'm into Christian Science and metaphysics, and that we really are ageless and we're eternal. Our spirits, not our bodies here, of course, but we really are eternal beings. And so it's very healing, my show too. It's educational, entertainment, and musical and fun and interact. So. Anyway, so here we go. Now, you want to do Wondrous Smile? Oh, how about the Smile Revolution? Okay, this is the first song that we wrote back in, what year was that? Let's see. I don't know, actually. 2007? 2007, okay.
And Pete Seeger?
Pete Seeger actually played on the album. I walked into a cafe, smiled at our friends, they all smiled, and I realized I passed it on to them. The people who saw us smiled at our friends, people have told me that before, but it's like, it's about giving and receiving smiles. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I do forget. I don't always smile all the time, like some people do, but I'm like, that wasn't me, so it's like I'm learning how to smile more. So, you wanna do Wonder Smile?
Sure.
Okay.
Or we can,
Or how about, wait, how about the Smile Revolution's here?
Yeah.
Okay, we wrote a song about how the Smile Revolution started. Because a songwriter heard our songs and she said, you really need to write a song about how it started. So we wrote it. It's about my father and how it all started. Yeah, in the hospital, and I told everybody. Flew down to Florida to see my dad for the last time. I was drifting my whole life, lost without a mission in mind. My dad rarely smiled due to a tragedy as a child, which caused me through my whole life rarely to create a smile. The last time I saw my dad, he gave me a great big old grin. This is where I found my mission. This I owe my life to God through Him. The Smile Revolution is here. It comes from far yet near. The Smile Revolution is here. And no more fears. The Smile Revolution is here. The Smile Revolution is here. So you see, it came from tragedy. You know, I had a difficult childhood. I was depressed a lot, and my dad had a very difficult, and affected me. And so this all came out of tragedy. And actually, when I interviewed Pete Seeger for my radio show, when I was working on a TV pilot to promote the Smile Revolution, he almost got up and left. Because he said, I don't think I'm the right person for this interview. And I'm like, oh my God, like, Pete Seeger is going to leave. And And I prayed, and I was like, okay, God, what should I say to Pete that he would understand what I'm doing? It's not just I just thought up this thing, you know. So I told him how it started on my dad's deathbed, and I told him the whole story. And then he understood what I was doing. And then he said, maybe you learned something by learning how to smile, because he was brought up to believe you have to be honest, like if, you know, Puritan family, you know, it's like if you feel like smiling, smile. If you don't feel like smiling, don't smile. But then from when I shared that with him, then he said he learned something from me. And then I noticed he smiled more after that, on stage and in photos. And it was interesting. I had an impact on him about that. And then he opened up, we produced a Smile Revolution concert at the Bearsville Theater in 2010, and a sold-out crowd, and he headlined it for us. You know, so that was really nice. So anyway, yeah, so that was really neat. Isn't that neat?
Smile.
So simple smile can change the world. And the thing is that I read a story about somebody who was going to kill themselves. And they said, if one person smiles at me, I'm not going to jump off this bridge. It's a true story. And somebody smiled, and that changed his life. It's interesting, isn't it? The power, and I know it's or a hug, a smile, laughter is very healing. You know. Wait a second. Okay, so we're gonna sing "If You Smile." That's a Wondrous Smile. This song was from an anonymous smile poem that I found on the nurse's office in an elementary school years ago. We rewrote it, but it was adapted from that.
You just go right into the song.
Okay, okay.
What was it?
Ready? We're just going. Let's go start. Capo 2, key sing.